Well, we're heading up to get the barrel for the cannon. Let's see how this goes. Should be fine. Wow, he really hooked me up. And it's like I got the barrel, and also I got the cheeks and the what do you call that thing on it that goes on the trail with the trailer hitch and stuff. I got that too, the end piece that goes on the end of the trail. So, God, it's like you really hooked me up. I was like, God, everything. It's got the firing mechanism. So what do you want to get back? Yeah, and there's no problem with this El Camino engine. That knocking noise is almost gone from the when idle, and it is definitely the damn catalytic converter. But you know, really, it's making a real loud noise at night. It started doing that, and I thought engine noise. Nah, it was a brand new catalytic converter that was making that crazy knocking noise. Because I put a pipe right to the oil pan and the bell housing, directly to that, to the bell housing and the oil pan, and my ear to the other side of the pipe. There's absolutely no noises coming out of there. It is definitely a freaking catalytic converter. But that night when it was making those really clanging bad noises, it's brand new and it made all that freaking noise. I don't know why, but that's what you call aftermarket parts. So this cannon's probably going to last 300 years, so a lot longer than stuff made in China. There she is. There's the barrel. And I got this too. I was like, holy smokes. So we're all set, and I thought there was something else. It's the this. Well, I'll fit it on there. My wood is too big, so anyway, I'll get it on there. As a matter of fact, I gotta get the engine hoist out here to. Ooh, just gonna move that over a little bit. Put a C clamp on there, clamp that down. Get this moved over here, but this should bolt right up. Yeah, I was just measuring from here to there. That's 12 inches. The bore is 2 1/4 inches. It's like real solid steel. He's got the firing mechanism in here. It's probably just got to get a couple brass screws from up. He's going to show me how to use it. It takes one cup of baby powder. Baby formula. Guess a 4 or 5 ouncer. That's how much powder you put in there. So it's a lot cheaper to shoot. The primers are cheaper to shoot. He was telling me something. I got to write it down next time. And I use this to bend those bolts in place better, so the caps fit on there. I'm not sure. So, well, that's the width of it. So from end to end on the trunnions, it fits in there. So from here to here, I'm gonna build that up with those rondelles, I guess. And this goes under here. So I guess this has got to be notched out further, like that. So this whole piece fits under there. This is 20 inches. I'm not sure if you just cut the notch right to the end here. Like that. Maybe up to like that. Right about here. And then this. See, this is. Let's do it from like that. 6 3/4 inches. So I guess if I cut this where this piece right here was even with that, this should sit over that axle pretty solid, pretty even. I've got to double check it, nitpick it. So that means I got to cut this that way and down this way up to about there. And that is bolted to the bottom of this. And it's about, see, almost 6 inches high. Wait. ain't sure about that. Well, wait a minute. If it's in the front, it's not sitting up high enough then. It's probably got to come up even more. I ain't sure. I got to see how high this has got to be up above it. So I don't think this is the stock setup, but who cares? Nothing's the stock setup. Well, tonight what I'm going to do is I'll finish painting this stuff and sand out my drips over here, paint this thing, and paint. Get the barrel, paint these wood. I'm just going to nitpick things because sometimes you do these little details. And get my engine hoist out here, lift this off of that, and then pull this forward, and then I'll put it on that trailer over there and cover it up with a tarp and some cinder blocks for now, and so don't get wet. And then I'll be working on it. But right now I'm actually very tired. I was working on the Marion Light Artillery website last night. I got the security certificate for it, so you can put HTTPS in there. And I'll tell you what, man. Matter of fact, this, so I don't lose it. Watch, I'll forget where I put it. No, I won't forget. I'll put it right up in here, so I don't lose that. So I called support on that, the website thing. It's www.marionlightartillery.com. So, matter of fact, tonight what I'm probably going to do, because I'm very tired, I'm going to get the chassis saver out and touch up all this surface rust and do that. Just nitpick the crap out of things. That's what happens when I get overtired. I keep busy, but I just do some nitpicky things because I just can't think right now. I'm just way tired. So I was so anxious. I put up another page on the www. Marion Light Artillery site about Andersonville, the exoneration of Captain Wirtz. Of course, they still slam him all the time. It's freaking amazing how this guy was definitely proven to be innocent and a total scapegoat, but they still slam him today because I guess the money powers have to justify their war of domination. The money masters, as I like to call them, out of New York City, in the media, in Hollywood. But so I was anxious to get that. I was working on the page. I'm not an expert at web. You know what? I'm going to wind up being an expert because I am actually pretty damn intelligent. It's just that I just can't work on them overtired. And working on it real late last night. And then it was working fine on my XP computer with an old outdated Chrome browser. Then I went over to the Windows 7 computer with the newer browser, and it didn't work. So I had to call tech support for the SSL security certificate thing. They got it to work, so that kept me up all night. And I went and got this. This guy really, I don't want to mention him. He really hooked me up a lot. But that's good because they know me. They know I'm trying to do the best for everything. And if you want to put a couple bucks into PayPal on BitChute, it ain't on YouTube. This video will be up on BitChute to support this stuff. Go right ahead, because those flags cost me money. That's $90 a flag up there. As a matter of fact, when that flag starts to tear just a little bit, they tear real fast after they start to tear. What I do is I take them down with a small rip in it. I sew them up real good so you don't even notice the rip. Because once it starts to tear, it's like forget it, man. Then I give them to then I fix them up real good, and I give them to one of the SCV camps, Sons Confederate Veterans camps. So far I gave away 3 of them, and they use them to hang them on the walls at events, so because it takes up the whole wall. So the only thing what I should do is work on these axle bands, get those ready. I can get this ready now. I got to get the kitty cats shots and stuff like that, all that kind of stuff. But now I feel like this was giving me a hard time. This making this bend like this the metal cracks on when you try to make the bend. So I'm like, forget it, man. I'm gonna have to see. Well, I guess, I'm looking at the elevation screw. That's the one thing I'm kind of wondering about. Because this is, well, I don't know. I guess, you know what? If this sits from here to here, like that, I got to go over this again. This hole has got to be right about here. So this, from here to here, is like that. So I guess it doesn't stick up that much off the back here, man, to do the elevation screw. So I'm gonna use something else for that too. That only costs like about $40. So, but this does make it so I'm home free with this. I can do this now. I am just overtired. That's the problem. I was just working on these websites so much. But what I'm going to do is just go to sleep for a while after I upload this video. And I'm going to just nitpick to paint everything on here again. Paint this thing. I'm going to paint it with the rust killing primer. Paint it. All the stuff I'm going to have just over, all the rust killing primer and stuff like that. Paint everything. Make sure it didn't. And then even out here, I'm going to get the barrel off of there. Put it up on here with a tarp over it with some cinder blocks, tying it down. And even all these little pieces of wood out here and stuff, they're going to get painted with that olive drab green. And that's enough, because tomorrow I think I'm going to take Mr. Onyx, the cat, over to the vet. So I'm going to give him a call tomorrow morning, so he's going there. So, but yeah, this is in a 2 1/4 bore. That's going to be a lot cheaper to shoot. I mean, it's not going to be as loud, but whatever. It's a hell of a lot cheaper, man. Stinks. It's like if you get the big cannons, I don't even know what the fuses cost you, but it's like $10 a shot. So if you fire it 5 times, you went through $50. That's pretty freaking fast. Go through money, especially if you mentioned you did that a couple times a month or 4 times a month, or maybe you don't fire 5 times out there. Maybe you fire it 2 or 3 times, but still, I mean, you got to haul it out there. The fuses cost you money. And when you buy the powder, well, you got hazard match shipping costs and everything else. So, and this takes cannon powder. It doesn't take, it's different. It's black powder, but it's a different granulation. But it'll be plenty loud enough. And these things, you don't get in front of these things. Just like even with a regular gun, if it's a blank, there's a distance where there's a blast out of it. Now this thing, I'm not sure how far the blast would be, but probably be, the danger area probably be a good 100 feet, I would imagine, even with this small cannon, if you're in front of it. So if you fire it, you probably want to make sure it's clear all the way out, at least several 100 feet in front of you, even though it's a blank, because that's, there could be, I don't know, you never know, it could be a pebble in there or something, that's another thing. But yeah, it's good to go. Very, very happy with this. So I can do it now. I am just so freaking exhausted from being up all night. And the thing is, again, if you want to put something into PayPal, don't care about a lot of money. Actually, if a lot of people did a little bit, it would add up. But this would support what I'm doing. So I'm deliberately not doing accounting full time, which I could be making a lot more money. I could be making a lot of money doing that, to do this. And I can tell you, this is pretty much the situation with everybody that does this stuff. Some people have a lot of money that are retired, and usually those people don't, well, it depends. But there's people out there, like a commander up there in Georgia I communicate with a lot. If he was just dedicating all his time to making money versus putting it into the Confederacy, he'd have gobs of money. And he's putting all his time into this. I mean, some people are really go-getters. That guy's a real firebrand. I don't even mention any names or nothing out of this thing. But that's the thing. When you're doing this stuff, you're really making a lot of sacrifices. So if you can, if you can put $2 or $3 into PayPal, it's only on BitChute. Just look for Synergy 7, SYY Energy 7. Fine, because I try to get the most bang for the buck. This guy definitely hooked me up with this stuff, man. Really, I'm super appreciative of it. I don't want to mention any names, of course, on the internet, but very, very appreciative of it. And it's going to be an active tool that's going to be out there. As a matter of fact, I know I made this video too long, because what happens is when I'm tired, I wind up talking a lot. I'm very tired. I'm going to actually make something in here where this is cut out to here, and there's an opening, and the cannon's going to be in there. It's going to be covered up with some roofing material and stuff, like a little roof in there with a light, and it's going to be pointing out this way, and it's going to be on like these cement stones, so it's up off the ground where it can't get wet and everything. It'll be totally protected from the weather, but you'll still be able to see it, and that'll be pointing outside of my fence. That's what I plan to do with it. So anyway, you can see it, right? Just this camera is so dark, man. What it is, because it's shadowed where the sun is. Yeah, I don't know what the barrel manufacturer is or whatever, but I get a couple brass screws from McMaster for this. Hit this with some little bunch of bullshit, but I love it. I love it. It might look kind of weird on what I got though, because I don't give a crap though. Somebody's gonna give me shit, but hey, it's gonna be a working cannon. Because that little thing's going on that thing with these big wheels. The guy actually goofed on the axle width, but I was making it a little wider than usual, but it was supposed to be, the inner dimension was supposed to be the outer dimension, but it's going to be alright. It just might look kind of funny, but who gives a crap? Most people, the average person, doesn't know crap about this stuff anyway. As far as I'm concerned, just get it out there, goes boom, we're fine. And looking at how bad the El Camino sags in the back with these new springs, that barrel is probably more than half the weight of the whole setup alone, and it's over here on the corner, so it's sagging. This is about what it was before I changed the springs. So if I put some overload springs in there besides this thing will ride fine. This thing will handle it easy. I was kind of wondering. Next thing I'm gonna have to do is to check the length. What I might do, because there's one of these, see this hook right here? There's a hook like that right there in the center, right there. And what I was thinking is, I might even cut the trail just a hair shorter, make sure it fits in there, because this thing, I can use a padlock to that hook, which would be one way of securing it, plus the trucker straps over the wheels and the axles to the other hooks on the side. But that can hook it to the front of the bed. Now I was thinking with this, since this is so wide, I got some other steel plate. I'll probably fill this up with steel plate, the 2-3 inchers next to each other, and then put this over that. Just so it looks better. But now it's just gonna have to worry about how this freaking works with this back here, because this, well, I gotta get out my freaking rulers and stuff, measure the crap out of it before I freaking start cutting wood. But it looks like I'm gonna have to cut here up to about here so this box fits in there, and that bolts to the bottom, I think. I guess that just sits on top of that. And then there's not the axle bands, the axle straps that go from here, and we'll get it done. But then there's bolts. This thing's gonna be alright. This thing will be alright. I gotta think about this a little more because I'm very tired right now. I just can't think straight. But tonight, If I wake up later on, I'll just get out of here painting this stuff and just get everything nice and cleaned up. Because when you clean everything up psychologically, it helps you out a lot better. That's the same deal like with when I go to do some work on this thing here with the oil pan and stuff, and the rear seal, which I just picked up. I'm going to go underneath there and steam clean, pressure wash the hell out of everything first before I take down the oil pan. But I found out it runs okay, so I'm just going to keep using it like I could just use it like this without doing a damn thing to it. It's just got a noise with the catalytic converter going clank, clank, clank once in a while, but no engine noise. So there she is. There she is. It's pretty good.